evening. How many of you have children? How many of you plan on having children in the future? Can you imagine a factory filled with children working long hours in hazardous conditions for less pay than adults? Could you imagine that future for your child? That's just some of the topics that we're going to talk about today concerning child labor. Child labor can be traced back as early as the 1700s. A lot of children signed up willingly to participate in these child labor employment opportunities in an effort to assist their family in order for them to survive. Although some children can be forced into child labor, many of them willingly signed up. Salem Press Encyclopedia 2013 states that in most cases, children who work for paid employment did so out of economic necessity. Now, child labor, what it looks like. Long hours, hard work, less pay. That's just a glimpse into what child labor looks like. Now that we've covered what child labor is, now let's go into the laws that protect some of these children. There are several laws and acts in place today that protect children from child labor. One of the laws was developed from concern from middle-aged women who were concerned about the exploitation of children and the treatment of children. And due to their protests in the early 1900s, led to Factory Acts. Factory Acts regulated the age and the hours that young children could work. Here in the United States, we have what is called the Fair Labor Standards Act. It also protects children's ages, the hours that they can work. Also, it protects their educational opportunities and prohibits employment from jobs that are detrimental to their health. Now that we've went over some of the laws and the acts that are in place to protect children from child labor, what can we do to reduce child labor or eliminate it? First, we need to start with educational programs that would train the parents, equip them with skills so that they will succeed in the workforce. Secondly, we need to make sure that these laws are being enforced. We have child protection laws out there. We need to make sure that these laws are being enforced. Sometimes children slip through the cracks because these laws have not been enforced. Third, we need to create social, economic programs that will enable families that are struggling to get assistance to help them from slipping further into poverty. That will reduce the chances significantly of children signing up for child labor, because in spite of all that we have in place, some children will continue to sign up for child labor in an effort to help their families. This slideshow here will show you some of the points that we've talked about concerning child labor. Child labor is worldwide. It's not just here in the United States. It's in Canada and East Asia. Child labor is the use of children in industry or business, especially when illegal or considered inhumane. Children work long hours, horrible and hazardous conditions for less. There are laws in place, Factory Acts, that restricts the age. The Fair Labor Standards Act, which protects the educational opportunities and prohibit employment. Reduce child labor by enforcing the laws. Create programs to train adults in the workforce and ensure that children get an education. This is how we can put an end to child labor. as I close, I want us to all remember that's why it's so important to speak for those who can't speak, help where you can, and educate all so that we can put an end to child labor.